possibly damaging their lashes is not something that you want on your conscience or you want to be known for. Let's believe it, lashing is a small world. It's a real small world. Okay. Mega volume is still safe for clients' natural lashes as we are using a 0.03 diameter in lashes. We will not be weighing the natural lash. It will not be weighing the natural lash down. Okay. So it's showing you here what the classic looks like. It shows you a picture of Russian, but it doesn't show you a picture of the mega other than a 7D. So a volume lash is 2D to 6D, remember? And a mega volume is 7D all the way to a 25D. So it's in this diagram that you see, it's only showing one mega volume lash. Anything that's a 0.03 or 0.05 and 7D to 25D is what is considered a mega volume. Okay. Therefore, their price is adjusted. There's a price difference that should be assessed there. Okay. And we'll talk about the pricing and what and how much you guys should be charging. All right. Unlike regular volumes, we will not place mega volume fans on anagen lashes. So this is key, guys. This is something to really remember, ladies, because normally you would put a normally you would put a volume lash on an anagen lash, right? Because remember, we lash the catagen lashes first, then we lash the anagen lashes second, and then we lash the telogen lashes last. And the reason being is because the telogen lashes, we don't know if they're in day number 2 or if they're in day number 99. And so we don't know if they're going to fall out. If we're a new lash artist and we're just learning to lash, it's important to lash the shorter lashes first, because then if the telogen lashes, if you run out of time and you're not able to get to them, then they're actually helping you fill in the lash line, right? Because they're long. They're the longest ones that's there. They still may not be as long as your extension, but at least they're long. They're the longest natural lash that the client has. So they really help fill in those holes, and it makes them really hard to separate them from the rest. If you got a volume lash that you put on someone's natural lash, and you did up to 4 millimeters longer than that lash, then that lash line is really filling it out, and it may still be equivalent or equal to a telogen lash if you've lashed an anagen lash, which is I call them baby lashes. Okay, so another word for the anagen lash is a baby lash, and another slang word for the telogen lash is the grandfather lash, because they could be 100 years old for all you, 100 days old for all you know, and you don't know when they're going to fall off. So keep that in mind. So what you would do on an anagen lash, if you're doing a mega volume set, is you would go ahead and put in a regular volume lash. So you would do a 2D up to a 6D. You would not put a mega volume lash on a 7D or higher natural lash. Okay, so you would just switch and just put your volume. But remember, that's only like 5 lashes, because we're talking about the little bitty tiny lashes that are in the corner for sure, and then the few anagen lashes that are throughout. Okay, it's just for the health of the eye. Just let you know that you have to be really good about doing the consultation for someone's lashes who who wants mega lashes. You got to make sure, am I making the best decision by giving them anagen, by giving them mega lashes? If not, then tell them that you're not a good candidate for mega lashes. But what I can do is I can make you a killer volume lash, and sell them on that. You don't have to say, oh, well, I realize that you're not a good candidate, and go away, goodbye. You're just saying you're not a good candidate, but let me tell you what I can do. And also let me show you how we can grow those lashes and make them thick and full again. And then that's when you're going to tell them about your lash growth serum. Is what you're going to tell them about. Okay, and make sure that you use the word serum, because it sounds really, it just, when I hear the word serum, it makes me think, oh, okay, it's like a elixir. It's just really, it sounds like it's really growing, like it has some maybe medical component to it, just so the word serum, lash growth serum, make sure you say that, because it makes them go, oh, okay, I might want to try that. Sorry, I had to drink. Okay. So mega volume strip lash technique. How would you lash map this? Anybody got any ideas? Look at it. Look at it real.
Spikes at every like transition point.
Yes, exactly. Who said that? Beautiful.
Me.
Who's me?
Lori.
Hey, look at you. Winner, chicken dinner. Look at you. Yes, that's right. Okay, so now we know what the look is. So tell me what lengths. You didn't know it was a two-part question?
I got the first part. Someone else can get the second.
She said,
it's a little like a doll eye. It looks like the longest ones are directly even with the eye.
Right. So somebody comes in and they show you a picture and they say, this is what I want for my trip to Punta Cana. Forget who went to Punta Cana. Who went to Punta Cana, left us behind? I don't know. Caitlin. So if Caitlin shows us this picture and says, this is what I want for my, because remember I told you guys to make sure that you ask a client for a picture, a photo of what they want. Have them pull it up on Pinterest, have them pull it up from a previous vacation, that they did, and you take the picture, you take the phone from them and you zoom in to look at it. But if they show you a picture like this, that's a really good picture. You know what style of lash they want, but now you got to know the length, So you got to know what this is. You got to be able to look at that and eyeball that and know what that is. Anybody know?
I'm going to guess 12 through 15 with maybe 16, 17 spikes.
Okay, so 17 is definitely the where the spikes are. See these other spikes? That's where the 17 are the spikes. And then you got to go, you want to do a variation, right? You want to go down to 12s in order to create the variation. If you only go down 1 or 2, you're not going to be able to see those spikes. So you can't go down just a little bit. You gotta make the spike. It needs to be at least 4 millimeters in difference between the spikes and so that you can really see the transition. 4 millimeters is ideal. If their lashes aren't long enough for that, or their own natural lash is too long for that, then you can get away with 3, but you really want to be able to tell the drama. Lori looked at that and nailed it just like that, because of you really could see the huge transition up here, up and down in there. You could really see that. And then you see that there's a spike every 4 or 5 lashes over. But you got to remember, you're putting your the spikes, or they stay closed, and then your megas go in between. And then you gotta you do it closed for the spikes with the lengths, and then you do the volume in between. If you notice, the spikes are really pointy and they're together, and then the volume, mega volume, is in between. That's nice and wide. And I'm talking 70, 80, 90, 10D. They're really, you know what I mean? They're really, really wide. If they've got a lot of lashes, then their lash line, that the spike part in the center, really needs to be elongated to create this look. All right. Moving right along. Good guess, you guys. All right. Okay. So lash tweezers for mega volume. You must have some kind of boot tweezer for a mega volume. You just have to. You can't use a straight tweezer with it. It'll fall apart. As soon as you pull all those lashes off, you need something to be able to grip all those lashes across it when you pull it off the strip. So having a 90-degree angle tweezer, having a boot tweezer, you can even do like a 45-degree angle tweezer. It's got to have some kind of L bracket, some kind of bend, some kind of boot is the only way that you're going to be able to make that mega volume. Now there are exceptions to the rule. I've seen people lash with a curved tweezer. I've seen them do it. I'm like, you make mega volume with curved tweezers. I don't know how they do it, but I've seen them do it. So just keep in mind that it can be done. There's not a rule set in stone. There's definitely nothing on the state exam, because they don't require that you demonstrate volume or mega volume lashes on the state board. All they ask you to demonstrate is classic. And even with the classic, it's not even a full set in order to get your state board. This is so that you can be successful during your business. This is so that you can keep up with the trends that are now going. If you try to give someone, if someone showed you a picture like the photo I just showed you, and they wanted that look, but you were unable to make mega volume fans, you would be there all day trying to create that look, and then only if they had enough lashes. Because if you're only able to make a 3D volume fan, 3D, 4D, 5D, you're just gonna be there. You're gonna be there all day. Time is money. So you really need to know how to make a mega volume fan. You really do. So make sure that you set yourself up for success and you have the right tweezers, because the tweezers are really going to be important in how you're able to actually fan. Okay. All right. So they've got, this kind of shows you what they look like. The L tweezer, L curve here, is the one that I use. And this also is, there's one that bends just a little bit more. It's called a 90-degree. That flat part is a perfect 90-degree angle. The J curve, you can use that one. I don't know how to use the J curve. The J curve, I can't grab them. It's just that's not my tool. But I can use the crane. Go figure. The crane, and me and the crane are friends. Matter of fact, I bought 2 cranes with me today. I got a crane to show you guys. So a crane is real good. So you guys can make sure that if you're going to do a fans, now you don't have to just buy these just for mega. You can also use these for separation. You can definitely use the crane for isolation. That crane for isolation is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So it's not that you have to spend the money and buy the tool and only be able to use it just for mega volume. You're thinking, well, I don't want to do mega volume, so I don't need this tool. That's not true. You can use this to do volume lashing. You can use it. You definitely can use the J curl for even for classic lashing. You can use the J curl. So, and then the crane you can use for isolation. If you've never used a J curl to isolate, you're missing it. It's everything. When I pass my J curl around, my crane around to the students here in the classroom and let them use it for isolation, they're amazed. It's everything. So don't think that you just have to buy these tools and you're only able to use it just for mega. And that if you're not making a mega, if you're not interested in doing mega volumes and providing that as a service to your customer, that it's not needed. That's false. There are tools that you can buy that cost $40. That's a lot of money on a tool. I've never spent $40 on a tool, on a tool. I've never, nor will I ever. There are companies out there that have cheaper tools where you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. But it's hit and miss because certain tools, Sweet Spot is in a certain place. I don't know if we went over Sweet Spot, but I'll make sure that I go over Sweet Spot. Now, the kit that I showed you earlier, the ProMade fan. Keep in mind the difference between ProMade and pre-made is what? Let me put it on my students. What's the difference between a ProMade fan and a pre-made fan? Anybody?
Pre-made is what you make. Pro-made is when you buy them from somebody already made.
Okay, say that again.
Pre-made are fans that you make yourself, and pro-made is when you buy them already made.
Nope, that's not.
The other way around.
Opposite. It's the opposite. Yeah.
Pre-made are made by machines.
Uh-huh.
I'm dyslexic, so give me a break. But I had the right idea.
Go ahead, Abriana.
Pre-mades are made by machines, and then the pro-mades are actually handmade.
That's right. Remember that ProMade's made by the professional. So that'll help you remember. ProMade, the professional made it. Okay. Pre-made are made, a machine makes them. They go through and they're already gummed together. There are some sites that I have seen that professionals who have their license, they hand make them, put them in a kit, and then ship them to you. But I was Googling one day and I came across in one of my, no, I wasn't Googling. I was on one of those groups like on Facebook, and the lady was on there and she was selling she herself makes the ProMades ahead of time, and then she make them, and then she will ship them to you in a nice case and stuff and send them to you. So she's making her money that way. She just makes fans all day. She don't want to fool with the client. She makes them and then she sends them. Hey, that might be a business for somebody. Okay. Might want to just sit there and make fans all day, put them all in, get the little cases that I was given to my students as gifts, make them up, make them all nice and fancy, customize it, and then ship them out. Just do that. You can do that as for a living. Just saying, just an idea. But yeah. So it's important that when you're first starting out, go ahead and, let's say you're an SD or you're a cause and you're thinking, yeah, I know I'm licensed and I'm able to actually do a set of lashes, but I don't want to. Well, and then someone says, hey, look, I'll give you $300 if you do my lashes volume set. You better go ahead and get that money. And so you need to have some ProMades ready. Okay. So just in your leisure time, when you're sitting there, you got nothing else to do and you're watching TV. Okay. Just sit down with some good lighting and just make your fans. Okay. And make them ahead of time and make them all at the same time. Like you make all your 9mm, make all your 9mm in one sitting. Let's say today I'm doing 9mm fans. Then you sit down and you make all your 9mm fans. You dip them in very light glue. Don't dip them in heavy glue. Now I tell you guys that just when you dip them in there, make sure that you dip your fan in. You bring over that dot of glue. You don't do that when you're doing a ProMade fan. You dip them in the glue to coat the glue to hold them together, and that's it. Because you got to remember, at a later date, you then now have to then dip it again in order for it to attach to the natural lash. When you're making a ProMade fan, especially a mega ProMade fan, because it's thicker, look at the diagram. See the 4D there at the top, but then look at the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 60. No, these are all volume. None of them are mega. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. But as you see, the one at the top is thinner than the one at the bottom, right? So let's, for the sake of conversation, to say that that's a 7D. Then it's going to need a little bit more glue, right? To hold it together. So just make sure that you're really coating it and now what you don't want to do is you only want to stick the tip of the fan in the glue. You don't want to slide all the way up slide a lot of the stem, like with a classic, you know how you put a lot of that the extension in the glue. You don't want to do that with ProMades. You don't want to do that with Mega Volume, because the idea is once you did all that shimmying and you spread them all out nice and pretty, then you don't want them to close up. Yes, Lori?
That fin at the very bottom looks like it's two different lengths. How do they do that?
It does. It does look like it's two different lengths. I don't know. What I would do is I would just make a I would make a 3D. I would make a 3D in a 9mm, and then I would take the longer and do a 3D in a 16, and then I'd put them together.
Like, would you assemble the 3D on the with the 9mm on a glue dot, and then make your other one and put it on top and grab them both and dip it?
Yes, exactly. But I would put the shorter lash on the top. So the 9mm that lash that you would do, stick it on your glue dot. Don't put in the glue. Stick it on the glue dot, and then your 16, make that. You know what? I'm gonna make me some. You done started something new.